Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hi. Good morning.
Yes.
Happy Thursday.
It's our Thursday tea party. Yeah.
Tea. Evidently, it solves everything. How are you feeling about that today?
Oh gosh. So we decided that we were going to talk about non-interference, which,
Again.
yes, we have talked about before, but we read a chapter, non-interference, in our Raise of the Dawn book that we read here in the office, and it references the zone technique that Dr. G does. And just reading it, it's just
It's difficult.
very.
And we talked this was the topic we talked about when we went to the park the last time.
Yes.
So we talked a lot about, exactly why it came up again this week. How difficult it is with your relationships and especially your children who are growing and learning. My experience this week is with my parents who are, I don't know, on the other end of that one. Like so just assessing where our place is.
Yeah.
And how we can be helpful, but we don't take on someone else's, what someone else needs to do.
Yes. Or needs to work on.
It is difficult.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Especially when it's a family member, whether it's, I think as a parent, there's like an asterisk by it that says like really hard to not interfere.
I wish there was a matrix. I wish it was like, if this, then that.
Yeah.
If this, then that.
Yeah.
Yes, no, yes goes this way, no goes that way.
Right. Especially with teenagers,
Yep. And life is just so different for them right now.
It is.
Very I feel like we were just having a little bit of this conversation, talking about our own high schoolers and just the TikTok culture of an impression of the world and how interfering that can feel for a child who isn't like that,
right?
Doesn't for whatever reason, and I go down a rabbit hole once in a while with my own teenage son watching TikToks, and just mainly so I can share time with him,
right?
But I just think from a developmental standpoint, it's one of the worst possible social media things that could be out there. Sorry, TikTok. Don't want to be hating on you. I mean, a lot of cool creative stuff I've seen, but life doesn't work like that. And these little itty bitty snippets for real. And if that's all that they see and are constantly intruded upon or interfered upon,
right?
I don't know. I don't know really where I was going with that one, except for we didn't have that. We didn't have it when we were younger.
We were just talking, when we were growing up, you got your 17 magazine once a month, and that's what you looked at, and you're like, oh,
so you had a month.
Those girls are so pretty, or those girls are doing this, and those girls are doing that. And then you had the people that surrounded you, or the people that were directly in contact with. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't have, or at least, I don't think cell phones even came into the picture till I was maybe like a senior in high school. Yes, that's how old we are right now, but
I'm okay with it. I'm glad I can remember a time.
Yes.
When everything was not so immediate and pinging in my ears and my face, and
yeah, but now you have children who are trying to grow up, and they have all of this social media that's right in front of them, showing people doing this fun thing, or doing this TikTok dance, or dressing this certain way, and that's how those people are getting attention, and then you have someone who maybe is getting attention, who doesn't want attention, but just because that's just who they are as a person, people are naturally attracted to them, I guess, would be the. But so just how it's so hard to, as a parent, to not interfere and say like, no, like, this is how it was when I was in high school. Like, if you wanted to see your friends or be with people, you had to go out. You had to pick up the phone and call someone. You know, we're now.
You had to walk to their house.
Yeah.
Or ride your bike to their house.
Right. And now.
We didn't even have scooters, people.
We had our feet.
Roller skates. They were roller skates. We're not that ancient, but come on.
I did have rollerblades, but I didn't rollerblade to someone's house. I walked. I walked everywhere.
Okay, but you were just saying you had to.
Yeah,
you had to.
You had to make an effort to see people.
Yes.
I guess is the scenario where now, you know, you can sit at your house.
Right, and see them right there.
Right.
Through their computer screen, through your computer screen, and we lose so much by that. And I get it, you know, obviously the world has changed drastically, immensely, you know, with.
I did see something this morning and it said, what does this generation of kids need nowadays? And like, you know, people were just commenting on it. And the first thing that I thought of was communication skills. Because a lot of these kids, to have even just a conversation with them is difficult for a lot of kids, or making eye contact with someone. You know, because they're constantly looking at their screens and not having to actually be present or speak to someone. Everything's done via text or, you know, Snapchat. I mean, there's so many different little apps out there, but I don't know where we're really rolling with this. Just saying that it's sometimes hard to step away and let them have their journeys, you know, or not step in and say, okay, well, let me fix this problem for you.
Or always shoulding them.
No.
Or adjusting them. Just do this. You should do this. You need to do that. I think sometimes the needs can be valuable, but I mean, I feel like kids, like, what they need is to know that they have connection. And what has been happening in the distancing and constantly being in front of a screen is losing the affect that we know for real happens in the presence of a person. And you know more what you need by being in the energy of somebody.
Right.
You get to see their face. You get to
feel their emotion.
You get to, I mean, you can get a pulse for that shared space with one another.
Right.
And all of that is lost when they're doing everything virtually and you know, and behind a mask. And you know, they, especially little kids, that cannot pick up on the facial cues and the, you know, the way that mouths move and you know, so let's take care of these little kiddos. And I think one of the most helpful tools I've ever been made aware of is put yourself as your little kid, your own self in that situation. Don't see your teenager as they are right now. See you as the teenager in those shoes, in that circumstance, in that dilemma, whatever it is. What did you need? What did you need? And is that what you got? If it's what you got, then that is fantastic that your needs were met. If it's not what you got and it wasn't what you expected, then you can say to that kid, like, I know how this feels. I know that adolescence, just super confusing time. Like, your computer is growing faster during adolescence than any other time of your life at a rate that we just can't comprehend. So when they seem a little crazy and confused, they are.
Right.
And we just gotta help them with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
guide
them along and not bubble wrap them so they never experience the scrapes and pains that we all grow from. But sometimes bumper rails are good, and sometimes you just have to learn how to direct it yourself. And and we have to remember, we don't always want interference with us.
Right.
We, as adults, we want to do things our own way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we feel completely unseen and unheard and not validated if somebody else is always fixing things for us or doesn't give us the opportunity to learn from the experience that we have. So it's the same for them.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to make those mistakes so you can learn.
Right.
So they're not mistakes, they're lessons.
Right. Lessons and learning. Momming.
It is national.
I was just gonna say, you told me
it's a National Working Parent Day. So
cheers
to all those working parents.
All those working parents trying to maneuver multiple schedules and not feel like we're falling short in something.
Yes.
I think that's a hard thing too. And again, social media for us gives a highlight reel of all the people that we think have their stuff all together, and
that's why I avoided Pinterest for years. It's like, I'm failing as a parent. Some of your Pinterest posts out there.
Oh my gosh, I know. I look at Pinterest and I'm like, clearly I don't know how to cook or work out or be creative or write anything.
I have got some fantastic recipes from Pinterest.
Anyway.
But
you're going to have to wrap this one up, girlfriend.
Okay, all right.
I could go on forever.
I think we'll just call that a day. So I don't know if we really ever got into the non-interference topic, but kind of just rolls up into, mind your own business. I think that's what the book said, at least.
Yeah. And if you're wondering about what book we're talking about, it is Rays of the Dawn by Dr. Thurman Fleet. We've talked about it numerous times.
Yeah. If you come into the office, you've seen it on the counter.
Yeah.
We always are reading it and talking about it.
But it's fantastic, and it's a timeless thing. It was not written it was written, what, in the 30s or 40s?
Yeah, 30s or 40s.
I really got to get this time
It's like
down.
19, I don't know. We did a book review with it.
We did.
Scroll back through all those YouTube videos. Somewhere in there.
But it's always relevant. It is timeless. It is always relevant. It talks about the natural laws, and then it talks about the laws of the mind and the laws of the soul. And generally, when we are operating out of the laws of the mind, we are giving in to things like fear and worry and interfering with other people's journey. And when you're operating from the soul, you learn how to take a step back and let people be who they are and do their own thing, go their own way. And it doesn't mean it's easy.
Right. All right. Let's wrap it up on that.
All right. Sounds good.
It's a good day. It's a good day. All right. Got Dr. G in the background. So we will see you all next Thursday, and we'll be, I don't know.
Maybe we'll talk more about it and go into it.
Yeah.
Because it definitely has been a theme
Yeah.
this week.
We've heard a lot about it.
We've heard a lot of stories, and so it wasn't haphazard that we came about it and didn't really have anything to talk about. We're lucky that people trust us and share their stories with us here. And those are what make us.
Absolutely.
Those are what construct all of these wonderful experiences that we have, and again, they are constructive or they are constrictive, and often plays out in the way your body works. So think about it. Think about what non-interference means for you, and if you can operate in a better way.
We're all working
just
on
as
it.
we're trying to.
Yes.
And yeah, so maybe we'll talk about that a little more next week too.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy your day.
Have a
See you
great
next
day.
week.
Bye, y'all.